Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday. So, over the last couple of weeks, Thursday has been more of a eBay spammer type video. But just because it's Thursday doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be an eBay video, right? Thursdays don't necessarily have to be any specific sort of day. But over the last few weeks, I've kind of made like Tuesdays, Hasbro review video days. I've kind of made Sundays my WWF the magazine review days. I've kind of turned Thursdays into my eBay video days. So I'm kind of trying my best to kind of set aside certain days for certain types of videos so that viewers know what to expect on those specific days. But I also kind of said that in 2025 I wanted to take a break from putting out videos every day, right? But I'm failing at that. I realize I can't just simply put out one or two videos a week. That there's certain times, like over these last couple of weeks, with the amount of stuff that I've gotten in, there are certain videos I really want to make, and I don't want to put a halt to making videos. I want to get these out as they come up. So sometimes you're going to be putting out 7 videos in 7 days. It's going to happen. So, but it's not going to be like it was in 2024. You're not going to see, daily videos every single day. You might have those weeks where it's going to be every day, and then you're going to have those where it's only 2 or 3 videos in a week. So, but today's video, man. Oh, I do want to make an eBay video again. If I don't put it out next Thursday, I might do it over the weekend. Shoot, I might take a look at some bad buyers, because we've been looking at bad sellers, but you know what? Bad buyers are a detriment to the eBay community as well, right? So, and a lot with the buyers, a lot of time it's fraudulent bidders who bid on stuff and don't pay, and they do it intentionally because eBay is a stupid system that doesn't allow sellers to give negative feedback to buyers. And people, they bid on stuff because if someone leaves negative or leaves feedback, they have to leave positive feedback, and it ups their score. So that's the only reason they do it. At least that's my interpretation. But I do have an eBay video planned, and I'm gonna do it on a good seller who has horrendous feedback ratings, which is sad. And I'm probably gonna include, a recent bad experience with a buyer. So that's probably going to be either the weekend or probably next week. But today's video, this is a very important collection of figures. I don't know if this line is going to continue. I think they have a series 2 out. I don't think I'm going to pick up any of these figures anymore past this particular series, or past this series 1. These are just very expensive figures. And during the highlight of these figures, any of these figures, if you didn't pick them up when they first came up onto the Asylum Wrestling store, they were probably about $75 a pop on the figure on the Asylum's website. But if you had to wait and buy them off of like Mercari or eBay, it wouldn't be unheard of to spend $100, $200, $250 for each individual figure. So that's why I'm like, you know what? It just isn't financially worthwhile to pick up additional series later on. But these figures always looked incredible to me, and I always wanted to pick these guys up. But if you're patient enough and you can wait until that whole until everybody is done picking these figures up, and now everybody that has them is just ready to drop those prices down. Yeah, I was able to get a lot of these figures for, relatively good prices, for what they were selling for in comparison. So I call them quick. The KWK Kayfabe Heroes. The packaging of these cards are absolutely incredible, and the look of the figures are absolutely sensational. And what I like about these figures, there's actually a couple of characters that I would have loved to have gotten to have seen as Hasbro figures. Later on, the third character we're going to look at is one that I keep seeing as a custom Hasbro figure. And I'm like, you know what? I would buy that figure as a custom, but I keep thinking that eventually they're going to make that figure either Mattel Retro, maybe Grapplers and Gimmicks. Someone is eventually going to make that figure. But you know what? You don't have to have any of these other companies make that figure because Kayfabe Heroes, they've already made them. And possibly one of the most exciting toy lines out there that not many people are talking about. And Mantar. Probably one of the most hated freaking gimmicks in professional wrestling history. But man, is this figure absolute dynamite. I am talking about possibly one of the greatest action figures ever made. I love the Hasbro line. And Hasbro will always be the number one line for me, no doubt. But any of these figures that are relatively in scale to Hasbro, or that I refer to as Hasbro style, that includes Mattel Retros, that includes Zombie Sailors, Heels with Faces, Grapplers and Gimmicks, that includes the Premier Wrestling, that includes your Ringmaster figures, basically any your kayfabe figures, even though these are a bit bigger, heavier, bulkier figures than Hasbro. I mean, they can still be utilized together, side by side. They're relatively ish in scale to one another. But the prices were always ludicrous, so I could never get them. And then when I finally started acquiring them, yeah. But reviews. I've always wanted to do reviews on these figures, but you know me, having a carded figure is important, but ever since I decided that I didn't want to do reviews on these figures anymore unless I had loose figures for comparison, because who was it? I think Bone Break in Action. He made a perfect example. One of the arguments he made, and I'm like, you know what? You're right, dude. He's like, you know, it's like people who go to the stores and, you know, show you videos of what figures look like when they're hanging off the hanging tabs. And I'm like, brilliant. That's my videos. That's because I was only showing the mint on card figures. That was a perfect comparison. So I'm like, you know what? I got to stop doing that because, and you only look at the front of the figures and the sides, but what do they look like on back? And, you know, figures on card, they're incredible, great. But what are the feel of the figures? How do they operate? Do they fall apart in your hand when you take them off card? So all of that is important. That's why it was nice to get two sets of figures. One for your mint on card collection, one for your loose, right? Mantar, though, he was one of those figures that I'm like, this is one of those figures I gotta get a second piece of. I gotta know if this is one of those collections that absolutely deserves an additional pickup. So Mantar, I got him in. I'm like, absolutely. All it took was getting one single figure in, and I was hooked. I'm like, 100% guaranteed. Every single one of these kayfabe figures, I was going to buy duplicates. I don't care what the price were. Well, I do care what the price is. But I wasn't going to get every single variant loose because, again, these are still very pricey figures, even though they have gone down in price. But if I could get at least one variant loose for each of these characters, I'm good. Because you don't need to show off the variants loose for each and every single piece. You could show off the carded, that's fine, but as long as you have one loose character, that's fine. And like I said, the play pose is perfect. The aesthetic look of the figure is amazing. He's a big bulky character. And this is going to go down as one of my top 10 favorite action figures ever. What do I talk about? Right there in that wall. Mabel from Grapplers and Gimmicks. One of my top 5 all-time favorite action figures. Yokozuna, Hasbro. my all-time favorite wrestling action figure, even beating out Sid Vicious Galoob, which was my George Washington of action figures growing up, right? The greatest figure ever, no matter what, will be my number 0. And I said Yokozuna was better. I think One Man Gang from Zombie Sailors was pretty much up there. Giant Haystacks from Chella Toys was up there because I love those big, hefty, bulky figures. And this was absolute killer. Good, beautiful, strong arms. The freaking waist, it doesn't move at all. Quality figure. If you're going to go out and hypothetically, if you were paying $200 for a loose figure, I don't know who designed these. Well, I do know who made these, but the Kayfabe figures from KWK, I call them, again, abbreviation, I call them quick. These are these are about the most perfectly made figures ever, and I can understand the pricing of these figures. Zombie Sailors can't match up to these type of figures. Grapplers and Gimmicks can't even compare to these. No other toy line is matching up in quality. And we're only looking at one figure, and I'm like so excited about this. And accessory. The accessory alone is what drove me over the top, and I'm like, this is it. This has got to be the most perfect accessory I have ever seen. Okay? This right here is the reason why Mantar, you may hate the gimmick, but this accessory alone had to be made, had to be created. And the way that it kind of like, not only fits on him, but it kind of like gives you a, not really a snap per se, but I mean, it's somewhat snug on there, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure once you start waving them around, it's going to fall off, but it fits relatively on there. It's, like I said, it's snuggish. It's not super tight. Like I said, you put them upside down. Once you start waving it, it's going to come off, but it's not like super loose. I talked about grapplers and gimmicks yesterday with the microphone in the hands, where the second you even move it a little bit, the microphone comes out. Terrible. But this gives it one of the best freaking looks I've ever seen. I cannot brag about this particular figure enough. This, crazy exciting. The only bad thing about the Mantar, this is the 1 of 350 variant A. I don't have the blue card, variant B. And this is both the same figure. It would have been nice if I smartened up and bought the B card. But if I bought the B card, I wouldn't have taken it off the card. So I bought the same figure so that I could take one off the card. So I'm pretty sure that they had at least, well, they may have had a C card, but I don't think so. I think this one came with the variant A and B only. And if I'm wrong, please correct me, but pretty much all of these figures are going to come with at least 2 variants, A and B. But some with a C, and sometimes even more. Now, another one that was an absolute necessity. I don't know anything about this character, but I keep seeing him on Facebook because there is a there's a seller in the UK. I think they're called Tightrope Collectibles. And I tried buying this figure from their company because I think they were making a new sort of series a la Galoob type of deal, right? And the character was PN News. This was variant A, 1 of 250. So PN News, I guess in the unreleased series 3 of Galoob, this was supposed to be one of the figures that were talked about or supposed to be produced. And from Kevin Pelkey, I actually got some unpainted figures from him, the unreleased Series 3 Galoob, and this was one of the figures. So I sent that up to Rob Jackson a few months ago, and he's going to obviously paint those figures for me. So whenever he's done with those, hopefully in the near future, I can get those in. But this was another unbelievable figure. Basically in the same same width, same size. They may have actually recycled the body on this one, and good girth and everything. Another unbelievable figure. And I like how on the back of the card they always have the title character, the main character of obviously of who's produced on that box set, kind of be the standout of that on the main photograph, right? And you know, they give like little special thanks and everything down here. They give you some kind of like little bio information here. They actually put on here Asylum, so the store that you can actually go to, the Asylum Wrestling store and whatnot. So, I mean, a lot of good detail that went into this figure. So that was variant A, and this is variant B, also one of 250. So that was blue. This is the orange. Both figures come with the same information with the chain, and this one's kind of rolling around, but it does come with like a, I don't know what that is, a scepter or something. So, take this off. So you kind of compare the two figures. I mean, very same size for the two figures. I mean, he's got the little pointer finger, but that's about your main alteration. But the width and everything about this, even the way that the feet, I mean, the exact same figure pretty much. They just swapped out the heads and obviously added the pointer to the figure. And this is what I'm talking about. You never see the back of the figure, right? So it's nice to have loose figures so that you can actually see the back graphical detail of the figures. And the little, whatever it is, I don't know, man. It looks like a little baby rattle in his hand. Maybe you know what? That's a microphone. That's what that is. I thought it was a baby rattle. No, it's a microphone. The chain actually can, I think you can take it off his head if you want, but why would you? So that's just an awesome, beautiful looking piece. Like, I'm trying to backtrack a little bit to the Tightrope Collectibles from the UK seller. Man, I tried getting my buddy Adam Mercer Bohemian Dream on eBay. I bought a lot of, Hasbro figures. Because he does auctions. I buy a lot of Hasbro figures, and I resell those stuff on my page as well. And because I get them for good prices, when I resell them, I can sell them for low pricing, a lot less than what your average eBay seller can sells their stuff for. Small fraction of the price for what a lot of other people sell there for, and I'm able to help a lot of people out that way. And he's in the UK, and I'm like, you know what? Because I buy a lot of stuff from you, can you bid on this stuff for me, and I can PayPal you the money. And I was hoping to win it for like, I don't know, 80 pounds or something, 90 pounds. And that thing ended up going for like 200 pounds. I'm like, Jesus, never mind. Because I tried getting on a PayPal or on Facebook, but man, I couldn't figure out the darn system. Like, it was so crazy, so many darn steps. I'm like, nah, forget this. This is a headache. But they were selling the glue variant of this like months and months ago. But I really wanted that badly. And it was actually coming on the white card backing, like you got from the 1990s Globe figures. It was super cool. I really wanted it. But do you really need it having the quick figures? I still do. I think that's going to be the Tightrope Collectibles. I think that's going to be an amazing line. So, PN News. Now, Mantar, to me, was, I think, an absolute necessity. I don't necessarily think about Mantar when I talk about figures that probably should have been made by a Hasbro in the 90s. And if Hasbro continued on into 1995, 1996 onward into the late 90s, guys like Jeff Jarrett and Mabel, Henry Godwin, Diesel. I mean, yeah, those guys I always talk about. Duke the Dumpster Drozy, for example. All of those guys would have had wrestling action figures. Isaac Yankem would have been made. Later on, Kane would have been made. Yes, of course. I think you would have started getting your first female wrestlers. I think China would have even got her own wrestling figure later on. And, later on, I don't know who else was. I didn't know a lot about the 90s females. So, I don't know, Sable, Trish Stratus, people like that. I think they would have gotten wrestlers in the 90s if Hasbro continued on. But I think Mantar would have made an awesome figure. And this character, I think, would have made an unbelievable Hasbro figure. And I am dying for someone to make a legitimate LJN figure of this character. And getting him as a quick Kayfabe Heroes figure, I mean, does that solve that issue a little bit? It means I don't have to go out and buy someone's custom Hasbro, because I've seen, customs. I think Crumb's Closet made a custom figure of this figure, which was, it was adequate. I was considering buying it at one point, but I don't want to buy, those type of customs. I'd rather buy something like legitimate from a brick and mortar store. There's certain customizers, yes, 100% of the time, I don't mind buying it. Steven Watson, Steve B19, for, UK customizer, bought a million of his stuff. Absolutely. His Hasbro customs are lights out amazing. I talk about Robert Jackson, all of his customs, of course. So there are certain Hasbro customizers where absolutely won't even think twice because their stuff is that good. But then there's others where, I bought some of their stuff here and there, but you prefer the original stuff, right? But this one is a variant A, one of 350. And Max Moon. Max Moon finally is a Hasbro style figure. Now they call him Comet Kid, but I don't think I ever knew him as Comet Kid. I just simply knew him as Max Moon. And I kind of listened to a promo that he did. I don't know if it was like on Facebook or TikTok or something. And I'm like, kind of hear him talk about like traveling through the galaxy. I'm like, man, you don't sound too sure of yourself. That's like one of the weakest promos I ever heard. I mean, no wonder his gimmick didn't work out too well. And yeah, I get it. A lot of stuff is for kids, but come on, there's how many adults watching? Come on, something like this was so lame. But the look was so freaking cool. He was like a Goodyear guy blown up with a bunch of. But I love the look, man. Some gimmicks are so lame, like Mantar and Giant Gonzalez and Max Moon, but yeah, as lame as they were, the gimmicks also were so freaking awesome, though. They were lame and awesome at the same time. And Max Moon, Comet Kid, I love this figure. This is incredible. Definitely should have been a Hasbro figure. And getting him as a retro nowadays is so awesome. I want this guy as LJN badly. So, someone like Ram Treasures could make it, but I don't think they ever will. And like I said, they don't make their own figures. They got to get the 3D prints, and then they got to buy the molds, and then they got to create the rubber molds, right? So, someone like Ahmad from Latuni, if you're watching, I'm always gonna bring you up because, you're the new guy in town who's capable of creating LJN new characters that we really want. And Comet Kid, absolutely. Although opening one of these guys up was impossible because you're supposed to like wet these guys and like air dry them, or get like a little blow dryer or something, like loosen up the plastic. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing all that. That's just crazy. Variant B was only 1 of 150, so 1 of 150, a much more rare packaging. Now, unlike Epic Toys and some of these other lines that have like the easy release, slide backing cards, they don't have it as easy as those, but they're not as bad as like Grapplers and Gimmicks and Zombie Sailors, where you're sitting there and having to break the package and destroy the card backs and whatnot with the bubble. On the back here, they have like little tape. You just peel up the tape, and then they got the little plastic you just lift up, and then the card backs do just slide right out. So not as easy of a slide up card release, but again, it's just simple tape that you just peel up, and then once you slap the card, if you want to bring these back to mint on card, it's a very simple process. So the card backings is very easy. So I like that aspect, and once you seal it, you can just tape it back up. You don't have to mess up the tape or anything on here. So I really love the card backs as well. So many positives about these figures, man. Comet Kid, Max Moon. I mean, I would have actually liked the blue myself for an additional loose figure. I like the color better, but I mean, 1 of 150. I mean, at least I could say that this figure is, like I said, 1 of 150 makes it more of a rarity. So, I mean, value wise, maybe this is going to be worth more money. I like the feel of the hair back here. That's pretty awesome. Face wise is incredible. Great play pose. I mean, solid, hard, thick figure. I mean, this is just awesome. Great detail, hard plastic throughout. This is an amazing piece. This goes perfectly with absolutely anybody's collection. I mean, you want to give this to your kids for play? I mean, this isn't a figure that you're worried about breaking. So that is absolutely amazing. And like I said, I mean, you're supposed to like wet the hands and then like get like a hair dryer and kind of like blow dry the hands so that you can like easily remove the hands, right? And then put I don't know what the hell these things are, but you slide these on and then the hands slide in through here. But I'm like trying to remove the hands. I'm like, nah, forget that. You could risk breaking the hands off. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Not for no damn $100 piece, not for a $100 figure. That's just crazy, right? So I just leave these out loose, whatever. It would be nice to kind of display it all 100%, but maybe one day I'll try to put it on. But for now, I'm perfectly fine with how it looks as is. And a lot of these figures, man, I really wish I had the second piece for that Mantar, because just having one variant right now is bothering me, especially considering how many pieces I have for this last figure. Variant A has 1 of 140, and this is a character called Yoshi Tatsu. Honestly, I have no idea who this character is. I just bought him because he is part of the collection. Yoshi Tatsu. And I think I bought one figure, and I think I paid like $75 for it. And I'm disappointed I did, because not too long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago on eBay, I found a pack of 4 for like $150, I think, and I bought and I'm like, I'm not even gonna try and hassle. I'll just go and I'll buy all 4 of them, which included the first one I bought, which I just went ahead and opened up that one, so that's fine. Plus, I opened up I bought a test shot, so I got a ton of these freaking figures. But I mean, it's a good looking figure though. It really is. They're all good looking pieces. So 1 of 140. That's A. Variant B is 1 of 130. This is probably my favorite version. And this is one I had previously. So that is, you know, an awesome looking piece. So I think if you're going to have one card, I think variant B is probably the best one in my opinion. It's variant B. Variant C is also one of 130. And, you know, the multicolor black, blue and red on here is actually beautiful. Mixed with the purple background, this is actually not a bad looking figure as well. So, I wonder if this is the exact same character from that you get from Ringside Collectibles. Just because the way he kind of covers his mouth. I got a couple of those loose figures over there. So, this isn't even a variant. This just says exclusive, 1 of 100. And I think this was also part of that 4-pack. Man's got some chiseled abs in there. But, you know, great design of the pants. Trying to give you guys a good look so that... Because I'm not going to take any of these off the card, obviously. But this is a really solid... These are all fantastic, man. And 1 of 10. So this is the 1 of 10 test shot. And like I said, the test shot or the prototypes, most of your prototypes, you see them on eBay, like, who was it? I think Ohio Figures. I think Nathan has the prototype for, I think it's Max Moon, if I'm not mistaken, that's on there. But he's asking $400 for that one, and I've been watching it for a while, but $400, man. I really want it. I really want it for this collection badly, but I just can't pay $400. I don't remember what I paid for this, but I don't think it was anywhere near that. 200, and I think even that's pushing it. I think I got an offer. I think it was like $275, and I think somebody sent me an offer for like $175, and I think I accepted. So, and I think I only accepted because it was a test shot. So it was important. I knew I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to have as many of these pieces as possible for this video. So, but, you know, the card is, like, obviously completely different than what you get from all the other figures. You know, having prototypes, obviously, it's something special. It's something unique. It's something that not a lot of people, obviously, just 10 of these figures made. So, it's nice to have something like this. But the figure in general, I mean, of among all the 4 figures, this is obviously my least favorite piece. Not only is he a character that I don't know anything about, but, you know, the play pose obviously stinks. But you take away the play pose, the look of the figure, the aesthetics, the face paint is pretty awesome. I like the dual color of the hair. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And, you know, graphics is pretty solid. So, for a display piece, it's another good pickup. And, you know, all these figures completing Series 1. I think, you know, here's the thing. No line is always going to be a home run with every single figure. Hasbro couldn't do it. LJN couldn't do it. Grapplers and Gimmicks isn't doing it. So this was very, very close. And definitely, if you are interested in picking this line up, this is a line I recommend. And I've been putting this off for a while because, like I said, I've been trying to complete this collection. It's not complete, but it's at least close enough to complete where I was comfortable making this video for you guys. So, am I still going to try to complete the rest of these figures actively? No. If I come across something and I see, let's say Mantar, for example, variant B is available for a good price, $50, let's say, yeah, I'll try to pick that up then. But if it's like Mantar B is available and it's selling for like $200, no, I'm not even gonna. I might watch it, but like I'm not gonna sit there and like actively try to work with the seller to try and buy it. It just up there in price. So, all right, so that takes care of this video, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. 36 minutes almost. That's a lot longer than I wanted. I don't want these videos to take this long anymore. It doesn't get the views I want, so I've been trying to hover my videos around the 20-25 minute mark at most. But there is a lot of figures to go over, so hopefully you guys still enjoyed the video nonetheless. As always, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys in the comments, and see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.